Welcome back to Restoring Sean. Today we are in episode 20, where we will dive in on the revamp that I gave to the kitchen pantry, slap some lipstick on the pig of a hallway, and then the much needed facelift that the guest bathroom underwent. If you're new to the channel, I post a new video every Wednesday morning where I do some sort of a frolic into all of the work that went into restoring my second house, the ranch. All opinions are my own. Never assume I have the correct answer. And did you know I have had my cats, Paolo and Sophia, since they were about 2 weeks old, all the way back in March of 2010. They were found by a woman in Green Bay, abandoned underneath her hot tub, and animal control came to get them. My partner at the time wanted them. I said we could take one, so he made me choose by sending a photo of both of them held in one hand. I couldn't separate them. Paolo was named after Paolo Nutini, who had a song out that I was obsessed with called Lay Down Beside Me, and Sophia was named to match the Italian theme. They have been with me ever since, and this past May they turned 14 years old. They are the absolute light of my life, and they tirelessly deal with me renovating and changing the houses that they have lived in. Let's get started. Today's video is divided into 3 sections, and in an effort to not let this be 30 minutes long, as these have somehow suddenly become, I'm going to zip-zap through them like you wouldn't believe. The pantry was tucked off to the side of the kitchen in a closet built over the basement stairwell. As you'll see in a moment, it had obviously been a coat closet at one point in time, and the previous owner's proclivity to use old cabinets turned it into the pantry. My goal in remodeling it was to make it much more functional, as in its current state, it wasn't at all. The shelves were too shallow, heights were way too low, and there was too much wasted space. This was all taking place in January of 2021, and I was trying to be better about recording things as I did them so that I could walk people through it. This doesn't last, so this is probably one of the last episodes of The Ranch where I give you a walkthrough as I am doing stuff. But for now, I'll let my younger self walk you through it. So I am starting today on fixing the pantry because and I also didn't clean it out, so you're welcome for that. It's just got like weird shelving things that you can't really fit anything on. I thought that I would just gut the whole thing, paint it all, and then start over. So today I have already been to Menards to get the shelves. I had the paint because it's a color that I was gonna also use in the master bedroom, and I decided not to. I decided just to go with the dark blue and not the kind of icy gray blue that I got as well. That'll go in here. So I am going to start by emptying this all onto the kitchen table, unscrewing everything that is in there because there's a lot of crap. We'll get going. I hate mess like this, so I'm hoping I can get this project done right away today. Super quick, because I don't like having everything out like this, but the pantry is totally empty now. And you can see, like, why would you do that? Like, what do you fit on some of those shelves? I don't know. And also, like, they left where the coat racks used to be up there. Just take it down. Don't be lazy. So I've got it emptied now, and the only thing that's staying is that little panel, because that is blocking the pipe or hiding the pipes for the master bathroom for the shower, which will get messed with in a couple months. I don't know. If you have money for me, it'll happen quicker, but otherwise everything is down in there. So now it's time to clean it, and then I can paint it. Actually, no, I have to clean it, and then I have to get the new supports on the wall so I can paint those when I do the walls, because I want everything the same color so that it blends in. That's that. Okay, so the shelves are in. It was some trial and error to get that, because the back of the
pantry is a different width than the front. Not the front, but like the middle. It kind of tapers in a little bit. So I had to fix that, which is fine because this is how we learn. But now I'm ready to take the shelves out and get everything painted. I ran out of little pieces, so I had to go back to big ones. But that's okay. It'll all kind of blend in the end. So I'm gonna try to get both coats of paint on today. I don't know if I will because the light is fading and there is no light in the pantry. I did order one and that'll come Monday from our friends at Amazon because Menards did not have that. But what I'm most excited for is like the extra storage here because it was only like single depth on these before. So now I'll be able to fit a little bit more in there. I would record painting, but you're only going to see my back, and I'm sure some of you might like that view, but I don't think it's very exciting. Okay, so the paint actually dried a lot quicker than I thought, and it went on a lot quicker than I thought. So today I am just going to put the rest of the shelves in so that they can kind of exist. Now I have to make sure I get the right ones in the right spots. Oh, it's fun when we have to use our brain. I'm not gonna fill this up until tomorrow because I want to make sure that everything is good to go before I do. But I'm the kind of person who cannot wait to put things up. So shelves are gonna go in. I might put the food back on the shelves. Look, I'm already going back on what I said I was gonna do. No one should be surprised. Almost a wrap. I will share once the light comes in for this thing also, just so that we can see it in all of its glorious light, because it's only 4 in the afternoon right now and you can already tell that it's hard to see in there. When the work was completed, the pantry could hold all sorts of shapes and sizes of food, as you would expect. I also kept first aid stuff in here, like ibuprofen and Band-Aids and cold medicine, things like that. When the interior remodel was finished, and by the way, the color I had painted the inside of the pantry was Crushed Ice by Sherwin-Williams, which was an abandoned color that I had intended on using in the primary bedroom. I turned to painting the doors as well as the trim throughout the entire house. The doors, as far as I could tell, were all original to when the house was built in the 1970s because they were just shitty hollow core doors. The wood was really dry and gross, and there were all sorts of like oil and grease stains on the wood around where the handles were, and you couldn't clean that off because at this point in time, 50 years later, it had just absorbed itself into the wood and it was part of it. I took them all down and painted them in requisite gray enamel paint by Sherwin-Williams, and this color applies to all of the doors and closet doors throughout the house. The trim, of course, was the pure white enamel trim paint by Sherwin-Williams as well, which was also the trim color for the rest of the house. When it was done, it was just simple, clean, you didn't really notice it, and it popped against the green walls. Gird your loins because I have got a whopping 3 photos and 1 video for the hallway. It goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. The hallway was just a simple pimple access point between the 2 bedrooms of the east wing and the guest bathroom. There was a crummy hall closet that I should have added trim to, but didn't, and that was it. Initially, I just painted the hallway Windsor Green by Benjamin Moore, but I knew eventually I would be painting the trim and doors as well. This is a great example here of how dry the wood on the doors in the house, how dry it was. It just looked ashy. And in this hallway, I had my mirror that I'd made such a big deal over at the manor, and I also put those brass framed images that I got from Etsy of the astronomy pictures. Those were put into the hallway too. This is also where the thermostat was, and there is a funny story about that. When I moved in, I had purchased a new smart thermostat, that could connect to your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. You could control it through your phone. And that was to replace the round dial one, which you've seen,
I don't know how many times. I don't think they even make them anymore, but they had like the mercury inside of them and all that. So I was replacing that old vintage one with a brand new one. When I installed it, I absolutely screwed up the wiring. The furnace or the air conditioning would not turn on. To my credit, it is very difficult to do the wiring to a furnace and all that because there's like a million different options of what you can do. And the wiring that did go to that old one, I'm not even gonna get into it because it's not worth it. I screwed it up. So then I went down to fix the wiring that actually went into the furnace in the basement.
And I screwed that up too.
My assistant at Pottery Barn, Jackie, she had grown up next door to a guy that owned his own HVAC business. So she gave me his number, I gave him a call, and he came out to help me. Because I was embarrassed about what I had done, I had come up with this whole story about having a friend who helped me install everything, and he was the one that messed it up. The guy went along with it, and I thought that it sounded convincing enough because I had rehearsed it a couple times. But he fixed the problems and had everything up and running like within an hour. Like, he did a great job. Only later did I find out from Jackie that she had already told him, I think, that I had done this myself, or he just figured it out of his own. But either way, he knew that I was lying the whole time and just went along with the story. So I was mortified by that. Best laid plans don't always work out the way you want. In the hallway, I took the closet doors down, and then the doors for the 2 bedrooms and the bathroom. Took those all down at the same time to paint them in the kitchen, where I got to use this helpful little trick. Foam rollers, like the one that's in the little picture here, are excellent when you are painting doors or cabinetry, because they don't leave the roller marks that a traditional roller, like the big, synthetic fiber ones that you'd paint your wall with, they don't leave the tracks behind that those can. And conversely, they don't really leave any texture, so it's just like a smooth application of paint. Once the panels were back in place and the trim was painted, the hallway was a bit more cheerful and bright. I'd also purchased a runner to use in here, which was 2.5 feet by 9 feet, and it helped with how bouncy the floors were in this part of the house. More than a year later, I painted the hallway again, this time in Snowbound, which was the same color I had painted the living room and kitchen. I only have this photo of it that I cropped from a photo of the guest room from listing the house, and it showcases that color, but I liked how it looked against the brass frames and the white trim. I had also replaced the ceiling light in the hallway, which had been a boob light before, but I found these really great linen shades with bronze mounts for here and at the top of the basement stairs as well. Finally, we have the guest bathroom, which needed a facelift for one specific reason. Padded toilet seats are never okay, and this house had not 1, but 3 of them with different embroideries on each one. I had to replace that toilet seat the very first day because I couldn't stand it. Like, the thought of a padded toilet seat just grosses me out like you wouldn't believe. And I know, like, my grandparents had it, my grandma in California had them. They had their moment. It's shocking that they are still sold, but they are. I was trying so hard to be really good and diligent about filming things because I had this notion in my mind that I was going to start a YouTube channel, and then I was going to start an Instagram account, and through those I was going to showcase all of my work. I didn't realize that none of that would happen for another 3.5 years. So I went gung-ho and started changing things without videoing it, and I apologize for that in hindsight. I'll share this in a video in a moment, but for more context, the mirror in that guest bathroom was mounted incredibly low. I am 6'4", so yes, I am tall, but I want to say the top of that mirror was only at like 5'8" off the floor. So to see my face in it, I actually had to crouch down to get in the mirror. And then the original light was mounted like right above it. Those lights were like in my eye level. I would replace the outlet and the switches because the outlet was not GFCI protected, and then I would knock a hole way high up in the wall, fish the wiring out of the wall, and that's where I would install the new lighting for the bathroom. To take the mirror down, I did so in this manner because they had super glued it in place despite the little plastic mounts that were meant to hold it. But anyway, here is me in October of 2020.
All right, so I'm admittedly not good at recording things and documenting things, and I know that the goal of this whole thing, this whole web series was to grow up. It was to document things that I was doing in the house. So the other day I just went buck wild and tore everything down in the bathroom. So I took the light fixture down, I took the mirror down. The mirror was like 12 inches by 24 inches and mounted in a position where I couldn't actually see myself without crouching all the way down. The mirror was super glued to the wall, so I had to break it off the wall, which kind of sucked. I don't believe in 7 years bad luck because I look at that as time served. So, my idea with the bathroom, I wanted to bring in one color from the last house. I had an extra gallon of Black Magic by Sherwin-Williams. I thought, well, I'm gonna paint the bathroom, but I don't want to do the whole bathroom black. So I am doing not halfsies. I'm doing I don't even know what the hell you'd call that. Like a third. We'll go with that. A third of the wall, and then I'm gonna do board and batten underneath it. So that's why it is not painted all the way to the ground. But there's a cat. So I picked up the wood today to do this, and I just started measuring, and then I was like, oh, you need to slow down and actually document one part of this journey. So yeah, I don't know if I'll get it up today at all. That's my oven. I will be getting some wood up shortly. Everything else will be white in here, get a little color on the wall with some artwork that I purchased. That's the bathroom. So this is the start. Please forgive me for not showing you the whole way. I have gotten the wood up, and it looks pretty great, actually. I keep throwing myself off because the mirror makes that piece look like it's higher than it really is, but trust in your level and your measuring, which I don't, but that's fine. So yeah, now I need to get the caulk out and caulk everything, because if there's one thing I learned from the last house, it is not to caulk at the end, because that's not a good idea, because then any dust that falls sticks to the caulk and you cannot clean it off. So you need to do it and then paint over it, get paintable caulk, and that's that. So this will start changing soon. The question is, should I have it continue underneath the mirror? Because I do not want to put it on that wall. So do I put a piece under the mirror? Yes or no? I am actually making really good progress today. So I got all of the patching of the wood done. That's what it's called. It's called wood. I patched that hole that I almost certainly did not make originally, because the light had been all the way down here, and then the mirror was, you know, there-ish. But I will say they had punched in a hole about yay big. This is also probably the ugliest patch job I've ever done, but the mirror's gonna cover it, so I'm not gonna waste too much time worrying about that. So I am just waiting for this primer to, not primer, what the fudge is it? It's not primer, what is it? Patch. I'm waiting for this spackle to dry. And then I am going to caulk while I watch a movie with my friend Jill through the wonders of the intranet. We're caulked. That's all I got. So I'm done for the day, and I got the primer all on there. I'm actually pretty impressed with how this looks, considering I don't know anything about anything. It looks pretty damn good. So let this dry overnight, and then tomorrow after work, hopefully I can do the first coat of the enamel. I might do another thing of primer just in case, because I'd rather do that than waste the expensive paint. But stay tuned.
When the primer was up, I never filmed again, so we're going to jump to the finished look with pure white enamel paint on everything. I was a big fan of the proportions in this bathroom. Let me tell you, the mascot of the bathroom, she's sitting on the shelf there. My friend Renee had sent me the Etsy link not long before I moved in, and just thought it was something I would get a kick out of, and I immediately did and just bought it. She is a smoking mermaid, and we named her Barb. Barb is currently the mascot of the half bathroom downstairs here at the estate as well, which is an important thing to know. I bought some faux donkey tail succulents to drape off the side of the shelf, and they cascaded right on by a needle point that Renee had made for me as my actual housewarming gift. And it is one of my favorite things, and it is also on display in the half bathroom here at the estate. I've mentioned before that this bathroom also had a vintage heat lamp in the ceiling. I did have to replace the bulbs in it because one of them was burnt out and then they were different colors, so it had new bulbs in it, but that thing was great in the winter when it was cold outside. But it also had one other advantage. It made for great lighting when I recorded one of my multiples videos back in October of 2022, backlighting Nicole in all of her stupid glory. Ugh. Not long after Nicole made her smoky entrance, one of my best friends, Jonathan, moved in. It's important to note that Jonathan is a fan of scaring his friends whenever he has the opportunity. Conversely, I am a big fan of serving people their own medicine right back, because if you can dish it, you can take it. Jonathan never locks bathroom doors when he's taking a shower, singing his show tunes, so I took the opportunity when he was screaming about a spider that was in the bathtub.
Alright, bitch. You is dead. I'm gonna need you to go down the drain. Thank you. I royal fucking.
A few weeks later, with photos of the house now on the market, this was how the bathroom looked. The board and batten looked great to add some visual interest. The mirror was now appropriately wide enough and tall enough, and the new lighting was perfect for the space. And that little shelf added just enough balance to make it all flow. And believe it or not, that is all I've got for you right now. I told you it was going to be short. Thank you so much for watching today as we move through the pantry, hallway, and guest bathroom of the ranch. If you have any questions or comments on anything that you saw in the video, feel free to drop them below. And while you're at it, click the like button, because I know I've told you it helps me out. And if you haven't already, click the subscribe button, because I know I've told you that it helps you out. That way you'll be reminded every Wednesday morning when a new episode drops, like next week when we rock and roll through another short episode featuring the guest bedroom and the office in episode 21 of Restoring Sean. Until then, take care, and I will see you soon.